Mrs. Shri is willing to pay 100 million to get offspring. That day, when my daughter and I returned home after a walk, I saw my wife drying clothes in the front yard and seemed to be chatting with a beautiful woman. Meanwhile, my son, Roy, was having fun playing with cars. My wife was apparently chatting with him. Our new neighbors. Even though the woman is old, which I estimate is around 35 to 40, the woman still looks beautiful and looks graceful. Her skin is white and her height is slightly lower than my wife's. Suddenly, my daughter started to get fussy because she was thirsty. So I immediately brought her closer to my wife to deal with it. Tilda Ma, Uni here. I want a drink, Tilda, I said while handing it to her. Tilda, this is the second child, right? Tilda asked the woman who was chatting with my wife, asking about my daughter. Tilda, yes, ma'am. It'll be 9 months later, ma'am, Tilda, my wife answered, as she welcomed my daughter and prepared her breast milk. Meanwhile, her clothes drying bucket was still full of clothes. Because I was reluctant to leave the friend I was chatting with, my wife gave breast milk to my daughter while standing. Meanwhile, I moved closer to Roy, who was not far from them, to accompany him to play. Of all the things my wife and our new neighbors chatted about, wandering here and there, I could tell. What I caught from eavesdropping on their conversation was that the woman I knew was named Mrs. Shri, who had been married 3 times. Wow, she's already felt it from 3 guys legitimately then. I muttered to myself. However, what makes me curious is that none of Mrs. Shri's 3 husbands succeeded in giving birth to children. Her second husband did not have children, and this third husband only lasted for less than a year. Her third husband was 10 years older than her, and he is the second wife. It turns out that his domestic life is also complicated. Will this be a good sign for me to start my new year and be able to fill the void of Mrs. Shri, who seems to really dream of having children? Hopefully, hehehe. After that morning's chat, our neighbor, Mrs. Shri, became more familiar with my wife. Sometimes in the afternoon she likes to sit on the terrace of my house to chat with us after finishing her housework. Mrs. Shri likes to wear a sleeveless negligee with floral pattern, as we all know what kind of negligee model is like. With a negligee model like that, we men can definitely see the skin on the side, which sometimes looks beautiful, which is much loved by men, even if only a little, but that's precisely what always makes me curious to steal a glance at that beauty. As usual that afternoon, when I came home from work, Mrs. Shri was already on the terrace of my house, and was sitting in a chair with my wife, who was combing my daughter's hair. The 2 of them were seen chatting with hand movements pointing in that direction. So that made me see the beauty of the negligee she was wearing. I was really confused by Mrs. Shri's behavior. Was she deliberately baiting me? Immediately, I went to take a shower in the afternoon and change clothes. Then I sat down to accompany those who were busy chatting. For fun, I asked Mrs. Shri, Tilda, aren't you home yet, Mrs. Shri? Tilda, I asked about her husband. My husband comes home. If it's not Saturday, it's Sunday. That's how it is if you have a husband who is an intercity truck driver. Bro Tilda, he answered with a sad face. So I spontaneously imagined that MR's Shri must be really lacking. Tilda, oh, so he comes home once a week, right ma'am? Tilda, to the extent that there is not enough ration, he Tilda, my wife quipped, and then laughed with Mrs. Shri. I don't know how many topics they had gossiped about that afternoon, to the point that she didn't hesitate to joke like that. It's like I've known each other for a long time, so I can even joke about things like that. Tilda, basically it's dry, HHIHIHI, Tilda, said Mrs. Shri while laughing. Until one day, when I was riding a motorbike, Tilda Moz. Tilda, a woman scolded me in front of the alley. Tilda, Mrs. Shri, where are you going, ma'am? I said to her with the same feeling. Tilda, want to go to the ATM, sir? Can I give you a ride? Tilda, he said. Tilda, what bank ATM, ma'am? Tilda, I asked again. Because in front of the roundabout at the entrance to the industrial area where I work, there are many rows of ATMs from several banks. To ride my motorbike. On the way, I was thinking about how I could get a bonus from the one I often peeked at, even though it was still neatly wrapped in his jacket. Tilda, sorry, ma'am. The road is jammed, Tilda, I said when I realized I had braked suddenly many times because a public transportation suddenly stopped and immediately pulled over. Mrs. Shri's sitting position in the back seat was sideways because she was wearing a robe. So it really felt to me that a big BAMF 3R was sitting in the back seat. My motorbike is enough to make my dreams fly, and I think more about how I can get more from MR's Shri, who is often left behind by her husband. Tilda, yes, it's okay, Maz, Tilda said in ours. Shri, as she could understand. Halfway through the journey, the two of us started to go smoothly. We both just engaged in small talk. Tilda sent from my husband, ma'am. Tilda, I asked. Tilda, yes, Maz. He's out of town. Maybe he won't come home this week, so he can only send money. Tilda, Maz. There's the police. Tilda, he said, shocked suddenly. What shocked me even more was that he tightened his hands around my waist. It was natural that he was shocked because at that time he was not wearing a helmet, even though I was wearing one myself. Mrs. Shri was worried that because of him hitchhiking I would get a ticket. Tilda, it's not the police, ma'am. It's just someone controlling the road, and he's wearing a green vest like a policeman, Tilda explained to calm him down. But his grip on his hand still didn't loosen. In fact, Mrs. Shri seemed to be burying her head on my shoulder. Tilda, oh, I thought it was the police. I was shocked, bro, Tilda. Shri to continue to work. A few days later, Mrs. Shri asked again to take a ride to the ATM. Because it was in the same direction, I just granted her request. Besides, I also wanted to withdraw money from the ATM to drain what was still left in my account. When I arrived at the ATM, Mrs. Shri asked me to use the ATM first. In the past, I just peeked at his savings balance for fun when he checked his balance. Because he wasn't very tall, I could see hundreds of millions in their account balance. I was surprised why the two of them lived so simply all this time I saw. After everything was finished, Mrs. Shri went home by taking an uncot, and I continued to my place of work. Around 10 a.m., during busy work hours and ours, Shri sent a message. It turned out that Mrs. Shri was confused and wanted to ask for my opinion. So I was confused by the behavior of this beautiful woman. Why didn't I ask her husband's opinion? But instead I asked her neighbor's husband. She kept asking for my help on the grounds that her husband couldn't be contacted because he was in a remote area. Finally, I decided to meet him. With feelings full of question marks, I finally got permission to go home early from my place of work, and then drove to the place where Mrs. Shri was waiting for me. I raced my motorbike to the place where Mrs. Shri was waiting. I arrived about half an hour later. Mrs. Shri looked happy because I could take the time to meet her. "Thank you, sir, for wanting to meet me here, Tilda," he said when the two of us were face to face. Tilda: "Yes, ma'am. Helping your neighbors a little has its rewards." "He, Tilda," I said, trying to lighten the atmosphere. "Tilda, it's this afternoon, bro. Let's eat first, shall we?" "Tilda," he asked with a look in his eyes that really hoped that I could fulfill his invitation. Next, Mrs. Shri and I went to a restaurant that is famous for being delicious, and ours. Shri, that's a lot of money, I thought. When the two of us arrived at the restaurant and sat down, Mrs. Shri asked again, "Tilda Maz, how many children do you plan to have?" "Tilda," she said while we were waiting for the waiter to come to arrange the food. "Tilda, I don't know yet, ma'am. Maybe 3 or 4. He, Tilda," I said briefly. "Tilda, how happy Ma's family is." "Tilda," he said as he sat leaning back from initially folding his hands on the table. "Tilda, what does Mrs. Shri mean?" Tilda asked while looking at the beautiful woman seriously. Finally, Mrs. Shri told me all the problems in her family, from her first husband to her third husband. So I came to know the problems she was facing, namely related to heredity. This is what I like the most, hehe. "Tilda, that's why now I'm so dizzy, bro, that I'm asking to move far away from my husband's family, who are now from the village. Actually, my husband's family is very rich, Tilda," he continued again, sighing several times. "So, the story is that Mrs. Shri and her husband were infertile, or what?" Tilda asked. "Tilda, we've had a checkup and we're both healthy, but we don't know either, bro. Having a lot of money isn't a guarantee of being happy. That's a big account." "Yes, just pray often, ma'am, Tilda," I said, giving input, even though at that time I already wanted to say, "Just try, ma'am, and I will definitely be. But how can I dare say it first? Hehe." After the restaurant waiters had finished laying out all the menus on our table, we immediately ate and continued chatting. "Tilda, you and your wife seem to be very fertile, don't they? Just make it straight away if you make it." "Tilda," he said as he took a piece of rendang onto his plate. "Tilda, he, just like a cat, ma'am. One nudge immediately becomes dot, he, Tilda," I answered carelessly as I doused my rice with curry sauce. "Tilda, sir, what if I pay 100 million? 50 million in cash right now, and the rest if I can be positive about having children. Tilda whispered Mrs. Shri with a slight tilt of herself, who was sitting next to me. Jejura fart. How shocked I was when I heard his words, which I really didn't expect, because even without being paid, I would have been willing, let alone being paid. But I pretended not to immediately respond. Tilda, how are you, bro? Tilda, he insisted. Finally, after I knew that Mrs. Shri was very serious in her statement, after finishing eating, the two of us immediately looked for an inn not far from where we were eating. Quickly we both got suitable rooms, then Mrs. Shri asked to take a shower first. I heard water splashing from the inn's bathroom. Meanwhile, I just sat on the bed waiting for him. I had already taken off my shoes and socks. I placed it neatly near the door. The blowing of the air conditioner made the room cool, but not my head. Why apparently? How come? I already got something delicious. I even got 50 jetties of cash in my hand, and 50 jetties more to follow if I succeed in getting pregnant. He had indeed given 50 million to me in a brown envelope. Not long after that, Mrs. Shri came out. The smell of fresh soap reached my nose. Tilda, Maz, you don't want to take a shower either? Tilda, he offered. Taking a shower can be a time to steady my heart. But why should this married woman not hesitate with her decision? Even though she can't get pregnant, 50 jetties are still mine. That's the agreement. Tilda, no need, ma'am. Just go straight ahead. So it's quick, Tilda, I answered firmly as I got up to prepare myself. It was Mrs. Shri who sat waiting for me. He looked at me and saw Mrs. Shri smiling happily when she saw me like that. Tilda, why, ma'am? Tilda, I'm happy because I can finally be with you. Tilda, she said while smiling sweetly. With a small wave, Mrs. Shri called me closer. Because I felt paid, I had to obey and approach her. Tilda, can I just call you darling? It seems more comfortable in a situation like this if you call me darling, and instead just call me mommy. Tilda, yes? No problem, Tilda, I answered with goosebumps, because his hands had skillfully tried to wake him up. I am very sure that this woman is not a new player in this matter. It is proven that she already has 3 husbands. It's just that she hasn't been lucky in terms of offspring. Finally, that day was the beginning of the contract that we both agreed on together. Until just before sunset, Mrs. Shri and I had just returned from the inn. Sungu, I was very happy that day, as was Mrs. Shri. So spoiledly, Mrs. Shri said that I should ready to repeat it until he succeeds in getting offspring. Why not? My heart. After what happened at the inn, Mrs. Shri still frequently visited my wife, as if nothing had ever happened to me. But apart from that, Mrs. Shri continued to ask me to make an appointment and continue to try to make it together. It's true that the saying goes, business will never betray the results. Until after several times, we both produced consistent kakaka. A month and a half later, Mrs. Shri started to show signs that she would soon have offspring according to her hopes. It turns out that I am still good at it. And it turns out Mrs. Shri also fulfilled her promise by paying off the remaining 50 million, but for various reasons I refused. Because if I had a lot of money, I would be the one who should give her the money, right? Until the birth, Mrs. Shri and I still often repeated it whenever we had the opportunity. Until after we actually had children, and ours. Shri's husband finally invited her to gather with his extended family, because his extended family really longed for a family successor. That's what I experienced with Mrs. Shri, who really hoped to have children. That is all, and thank you.